Something big might be going down in Israel very, very soon, friends. The situation may change dramatically. Now, for those of you who are waiting for end times prophecy, if you're watching that kind of stuff, this is big news for you. If you're not into any of that stuff, trust me, this is really big news anyway, because we're going to be seeing potentially a major, major clash between the Jewish state as well as basically all the Muslim states around them. This has to do with the Temple Mount. They're about to do something pretty crazy is what it's looking like regarding the red heifer, the Jewish temple, and of course the Muslim mosque up on the Temple Mount. This could really shake things up. Plus a whole bunch of reports from you guys on price increases, as well as why factories are firing U.S. workers to hire the others, right? Someone has shared with us the federal incentives, so you can see it from the factory perspective, what the federal government is paying them in order to make it worth their while to switch from U.S. workers to other workers. And there's a really scary scam call going around out there. One of our viewers got this past week. You need to be aware of this so you don't do anything rash if you get this type of call. We got that and a whole bunch more. Let's jump right into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. I'm overseas at the moment, so forgive the background. And these drapes do look like they're a little bit nasty, but let's focus, right? Please do keep sending your updates. It is super valuable to share the information that you guys have with each other, and please keep sending them in. Just reply back to any one of the videos on this channel. Use the word update somewhere in your comment, as well as give us some sort of geographical location so it's useful information. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They do a fantastic job helping people get out of retirement accounts into stocks and bonds, other risky things, into more stable things like physical gold, physical silver, physical platinum. There's lots of different options with that. To move a portion of your retirement account over or all of your retirement account, whatever you want to do. But Jonathan and his team would love to answer your questions and to educate you on what it would look like, and then you can decide whether it's a good fit for you or not. There'll be a link at the end of the video for you to click on and fill out and get some more information from them. All right, friends. Ivory asks, what's up with the red heifer sacrifice? And honestly, I'll say this. I've been kind of avoiding this one because I've been hearing them yapping about the red heifer thing for a while. And apparently, so finally just like, okay, I'll just go see what's going on. Is there something new happening on that? So for those of you who aren't Bible scholars, red heifers are required. They need to slaughter a red heifer and then use the blood from the red heifer to purify or cleanse the Temple Mount in order to build the temple, the Jewish temple. Now, there's no Jewish temple, right? And the Jews are not slaughtering animals, they're not making sacrifices and all that kind of stuff like that because they don't have a temple to do it at, and they're only allowed to do it at the temple. The problem is you've got the Al-Aqsa Mosque sitting on top of the Temple Mount. Now, it has been said that there is enough room on top of the Temple Mount that you could build a full-scale Jewish temple next to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. But there's a big thing happened. The rabbis collectively have basically said that Jews are not allowed to enter the Al-Aqsa Mosque because it's unclean, unceremonial, unclean. And so they can worship at the Wailing Wall, which is outside the temple complex, and is the old foundation of the temple, which was cleansed back in the day, right? So that's still a place where they can worship and they can pray. But the Al-Aqsa Mosque at the top, the Muslims can go in there and everything like that, but the Jews don't dare go in there because they've been told by their rabbis not to do that. So what they're talking about is they finally got some red heifers that are qualified up to rabbinical standards. And rumor is that they are preparing to slaughter one of these red heifers and then take the blood into the temple complex and purify it, which the Muslims would have a hissy fit if they did that. And if they did that and then had the rabbis essentially declare that Jews can go worship in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, that would mean lots of Jews would go on the Temple Mount to pray. And since the Al-Aqsa Mosque, I keep butchering the pronunciation on that, sorry about that, the Dome of the Rock, right? They would need to be able to go in there. They haven't been trying to go in there, but now that they'd want to go in there, that would cause all sorts of problems for the security personnel up there. The Muslims have generally been allowed to just kind of run the thing, and the Jews have been told to just stay away. And the Jews haven't really, the Orthodox and very dedicated people really haven't tried to get in there too badly because they're not supposed to, because it's unclean anyway. But if it becomes ceremonially clean, that could cause all sorts of problems. And with the Temple Mount cleansed, then there opens up the door for them to start construction of a temple. Any of these things would send the Muslim countries around that area into high orbit, okay? And the tension on the Temple Mount would just go through the roof. So word on the street is anytime around Passover, they may do this. And there's also the date April 10th being floated out there, which is absolutely insane. I forget that there's a connection to when one of the previous temples was purified, so using the calendars and stuff like that, April 10th, they may try to do it on April 10th. Now, supposedly they've set up a complex on the Mount of Olives, which is not on the Temple Mount, where they can actually do the slaughter of the red heifer, and then they can just carry the blood over to and just start, have a bunch of people go up there and just paint stuff with the red heifer blood to purify it, right? Ceremonially sprinkle it all over the place, which you can imagine this would be absolutely insane. And it makes it even worse that April 10th is another date. That is the Muslim high, basically at the end of Ramadan, the month of Ramadan. They have the Eid, which is their big. It's the big culmination, right? It's the biggest religious day of the year, massive feast, the end of the fasting month of Ramadan. Eid, the night before, is called the Night of Power, where they pray and it's just, and they have visions, and it's really a big deal. And April 10th is Eid, and then in addition to that, the Jews are talking about potentially doing the red heifer sacrifice then and hitting the Al-Aqsa Mosque with the blood on April 10th. You can just, I don't know if you can imagine, but I kind of shuddered to think of what it would look like if they did that. That would just go through the, be aware. And they probably won't announce this before they do it. It's probably going to just happen. And they've been preparing for this for years. It has been years where they got the red heifers in. They had to get them over a certain age in order for them to be qualified, and they're now over that certain age. And the Jewish government is relatively in line with the thinking of that the Muslim domination over the Temple Mount has run its course, and so there's friendly forces within the Israeli government to this whole plan. I believe it's the war minister. He is a hardliner. Now Netanyahu is not on board with the whole conservative, religious, Orthodox stuff, but he has people within his coalition that very much are. So the stars are aligned for this to move forward, and I think it probably will, which could cause some serious changes over there. And anyway. Moving on, Neil says, let's talk about cat food, of course. I know, step back. Other reports. Neil says, I just ordered a case of cat food on Amazon on 3/26. Said that it would be delivered between 4/16 and 5/17. Up to 2 months out for buying some cat food. Lisa says, Northeast Ohio, the Nextdoor Neighbor app is helpful for staying updated on crime in your zip code. There's a number of different apps and stuff like that, but the Nextdoor app is good. And there's other things. and local newspapers and stuff like that. But make sure you're staying aware of what's going on in your immediate neighborhood. Hearing about the crime that happened north of the city or south of the city or somewhere on the other side of the city than where you are is, big, crazy crime. Okay, that gets you scared. But what about like with the crime that's actually happening in your neighborhood? Are you keeping aware of that? Are you tied in with neighbors to hear about that kind of stuff? Lisa says, near me, catalytic converters are being cut off of cars at night in the driveway. I'm way out in the suburbs. So it's that kind of crime that you really need to take some action on, right? You need to make sure that people aren't snooping around your house. And you might want to think about where you're parking your car if people are cutting off catalytic converters, right? Minky's mom says, down east Maine, shelves are pretty spotty. Truck deliveries are now iffy and products can not be depended upon. Maine cannot feed itself by its farms. The coastal seas are now being overfished and the specialty catches are being sent overseas. Local waters are becoming too warm for Maine lobsters who are traveling north to Canadian coasts. Highlander says, I can attest to internet rate hikes. Mine has gone up $50 per month. The electric company in Frankfort, Kentucky has also advised that rates will be increased by almost 20%. They went up 10% last year and another 20% this year. This 3% inflation is rough. Obviously, that's sarcasm. But friends, if you think 3% inflation, 3% government inflation is bad, wait until you see what 6% government inflation is like. If 3% is bad, 6% will be even worse. Wait until you start seeing some crazy stuff like that. Tennessee Mama says, Tennessee manufacturing plant in Middle Tennessee. This will share with us kind of the incentive programs for manufacturers to switch over to others being hired. The plant in Tennessee manufacturing plant in Middle Tennessee. The plant recently hired over 100 others in a deal with the government. All are from Haiti and none speak English. Why would they do that? The company's starting pay is $15 an hour. The others are hired at $10 an hour. The government is paying for their housing and bringing in catered food to the plant for breakfast and lunch. That's right, the federal government is paying for the food. They are also paying for a translator to be at the plant. All of the taxpayers' dime. If the federal government is doing it here, they are doing it probably everywhere. That's why manufacturers are switching over. Now it makes sense, doesn't it? And yes, we're the ones footing the bill once again. Rebecca says, Grays Harbor County, Washington. Hard to find test strips for the Rely On diabetes meters. Only a container or two of off-brand testers. When I inquired when to expect more on the shelf, one drugstore clerk said the warehouses are out. So none at the warehouses. The employee then said that they were having a hard time keeping any of the essential items for healthcare on the shelf. She was clearly upset. As we all are, aren't we? Rooted and Grounded says, my neighbor's sis got a very believable kidnapping call this week. Out of New York City, someone alleging that her child witnessed and ruined their drug deal. They demanded that they pay what the dealer lost. Very believable and terrifying. When they get you by the emotions and rush you, it's very hard to think rationally. Good resolution. She said, what is he wearing? And it started to fall apart. The kid was safe at school, but they were still traumatized. The three-letter agency that got involved said this isn't uncommon, so I say this to others so that they can recognize it and possibly see through it faster. So be aware of that and any kind of scam like that, friends. Do what you can to verify it as quickly as possible so that you can make good decisions. Swaggy says, Vermont Bread Outlet. It's a day-old bread store, now closed. No warning, just closed. The door glass covered and a note saying that they would be closed for good. This place had always had people in it. And of course, they probably were making money. I mean, budget discount grocery stores and stuff like that, discount stores are making lots of money right now. People are shifting to discount stores, but the problem is they're having problem getting product for these discount stores because the regular stores are holding on to the product. Never forget, says Eastern Washington, Safeway had Campbell's soup selection reduced significantly, down to one section and not fully stocked, the cream soups especially. And one word out there that I'll just kind of chime in on that is that I'm hearing a lot of reports that a lot of people are sick right now. A lot of people are catching all sorts of different things, norovirus happening, the cough is going around again, not nearly as serious as it was the first number of times, but still a lot of people getting sick. And that is causing a lot of demand for soup out there. All right, friends, if you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right here on the screen, or you can find it down in the pinned comment down below with the phone number there. Make sure you do mention this channel so they waive the setup fee for you. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.